Welcome back to Coffee Infused Crypto. Today we're gonna analyze the market, what happened, what updates do we have since the Bitcoin crash 2 days ago. Please note that this is the weekend and trading on the weekend is very dangerous because of lack of volume in the market, so the price can be easily manipulated. So I would avoid trading in the weekend. So to start with the 1 hour time frame, ever since Bitcoin had this massive crash back from our parallel channel, and we're gonna see it on a bigger time frame later. Bitcoin had been for the past day and a half trading between this asymmetrical triangle after a crash to the downside. And this asymmetrical triangle, because we are coming from the upside down, has a higher probability of breaking and having a trend continuation to the downside. But so far, we're still trading in between, barely breaching it at the moment. We're gonna wait for the next hour or two to see if this candle will close. But please do note that we are still trading within my gray area. And this gray area, if we go back in time, we can see it has done a good job supporting us ever since we had the initial pump around this area, and even when we dipped below it, we pulled back above it. So now we're trading at the very bottom of this area. The RSI is below 50 and it's trading now at 36. Even though it looks bleak on the shorter time frame, but it's always wise and smarter to look at the macro. So to look at the macro, first we're gonna go a bit higher and we're gonna check the daily. For the daily, Bitcoin broke out of this parallel channel, the top one, as we can see here, and we discussed this in a previous video. And ever since we broke here, we were supported around the middle or the center of our second parallel channel. And we mentioned that my orange box around this area is a good area and to be trusted. So on the daily time frame, from this perspective, we are still trading above the bull and bear market band. So we're above it. We went above and retest. And as I said before as well, I would love to see this price action come back down and retest the band around this area. So it doesn't look that bleak on the daily, and the RSI dipped below 50 as well at the 40 around. It's around 39 now. So as for the daily, this is the update. So we're still trading in the second parallel channel. As for if we want to go and look a little bit macro, some more macro, this is the weekly, and ever since Bitcoin pumped through this from our FTX collapse lows, we can notice that Bitcoin has been trading in this huge parallel channel. So on the weekly, things look even brighter. If you notice, the RSI is above 50, it's at 55. And if we take this channel out and see in simple terms what Bitcoin did, let me remove all of these and just stick to the Fibonacci retracement tool. So from our local low to our local high, Bitcoin what Bitcoin did was broke all the way to the high and came all the way down, retested our golden pocket, and this is where we got the pull to the upside after having the support around those areas. So keep an eye on our golden pocket and note that this is an uptrend on the weekly. So we are still in an uptrend and above our bull market support band. So things on the macro scale look a little bit nicer than the shorter time frames, and we can start building our strategies based on macro and then go down to the lower time frames in order to trade. This dip is internal house issues. This is a crypto dip, purely crypto dip, because as we said, we were waiting for the DXY, the dollar index, to actually retest this area, and we can see that the dollar index closed the week in a retracement and in a red candle. So they didn't break this, and now we have this scenario which might play top here, another top here. So if we got rejected, this would be a double top scenario, and that would lead, we got to a retracement, we got supported around this area. But if we failed again, that would be a triple top scenario, and usually double tops and triple tops, if we break this neckline, then we will be heading towards the lower areas to retest. So keep that in mind, that the dollar index didn't pump over this orange box that we had, and the S&P 500 closed the week with a green candle right after a retest, which again we spoke about earlier, got supported and had a very good close end of the week. So we pumped at the very end of the week and we closed in a very healthy green candle. So please note that Bitcoin is always it's trading similar to the S&P. It's very much correlated to the S&P 500. It's highly correlated. So we can expect a Bitcoin relief when the S&P 500 is in green. We can expect a greener days for Bitcoin when this is in green. So this bullish inverse head and shoulders and a breaking of a broadening wedge. I'm gonna link the broadening wedge around here and you can watch that video if you haven't. So those are bullish breakouts, and this is the weekly, so this will take some time in order to form, but a retest to this area and a green candle, this is very bullish. That's why I conclude that this Bitcoin dump is internal in-house struggles, and that's based on Silvergate Bank and all of the news, the negative news we had this end of this week. But if you have been in the markets for long enough, you'd know that news come and go, but the macro price action and the macro move for Bitcoin and the fundamentals are always the same, and those don't change. So far never changed. We're still mining blocks. Network is still very active. It's at all-time high. So news come and go. Always keep that in mind. I'm gonna move to this interesting chart just to compare back in history. Something caught my attention. This was the FTX drop, and we were trading in this upper parallel channel alongside with this sideways parallel channel, if you notice. And if we look around this area, you can see that Bitcoin is trading between the support of this parallel channel and the resistance of this sideways parallel channel. So Bitcoin should be trading between this area until one of the two breaks at some time around here, around this whole area. We can't know when exactly, but we know that we are trading between those two areas, and if we broke to the downside, we still can go and retest this support from the parallel channel, the sideways one, and if this one breaks, we are retesting the resistance from the upward parallel channel. Something to notice, I went back in history and checked something. When was the last time we had an instant crash? I remember the COVID crash, and that is where I went. So look, check this out. This was the COVID crash, and this was the sudden COVID crash. And back then, Bitcoin was trading in a sideways parallel channel and in an upper parallel channel as well. So when Bitcoin broke the upper line of the sideways parallel channel, instantly shot up and retested the upper resistance of this parallel channel. And when that was broken, that was the result of what happened next. As you can see here, this was the price action. So just doing some comparison between the two, you can tell me how accurate you can, or how similar are these two. If we go to the weekly, we can have a broader look around those two. Some thoughts to consider, some ideas to consider. So yeah, for me, kind of similar. But again, we have to wait and see how would we go from here. This triangle, asymmetrical triangle, we're gonna see if we're gonna break to the upside, then we have a resistance from this parallel channel. Anyways, those were the ideas. The macro scale, on the macro level, Bitcoin doesn't look that bad. We're still trading just as we expect us to be trading. If we can even go to the broader macro look, this chart, and check, things are looking very, very much healthy. If you can see here, just one retest. Now we can go for another retest, not a big deal, or maybe just consolidate sideways and then reattempt to break this. So on a broader macro scale, all this FUD, all this panic you see in the market is based on this tiny red candle. Anyways, that's everything for me for today. Stay safe, stay calm, and always avoid trading in the weekends and trade responsibly. Stay collective and don't miss focus. The end goal is long term and never short term. So keep that in mind. Keep the macro vision in your head always, and don't let all the small tiny details of a daily details, pod and so on, scare you off your macro plan and strategy. Have a blessed weekend and stay safe. See you later.